it's Midnight Raven, and you'll have to excuse the dog because outside it just won't stop barking. I've tried to film this at least twice now, and this is my third attempt. Hopefully the dog will stop and I can get to filming. So today I want to do a video called quick fire questions, basically. So these are quick fire questions that I'm going to answer, and today they are about shopping and living, as in houses, where you live, etc. So I'm going to leave a list of the questions down in the description. If you want to answer these yourselves in the chat, that would be awesome. I'd love to hear all about your interests and where you live. I'm going to answer these as quick and as efficiently as I can. Obviously, I don't want to ramble on too long. There are 10 questions about shopping and 10 questions about where I live. So let's get into the video. So question 1, how often do you go shopping? Well, how long is a piece of string would be the answer to that question. It varies. I do food shopping once a week, and when COVID isn't happening, I go shopping maybe once a week, just into town, nip to the charity shops when they're usually open, and just have a look around. Question 2, do you prefer high street or high end? I love shopping on the high street. Things like Primark, H&M, New Look. I'm not really a high end. I'm not going to be shopping at Gucci or, any of those fancy stores. I'm a common lass. Primark is my home. Question 3. What's your favourite store? Now this depends on what you're actually looking for. So if it's clothes, then I'll go to Primark. If it's like home decor, then I'll go to the Range. If I want a bargain, I'll go to Pound Shop. If I want to go out and buy something a bit more high fashion, I might go to somewhere like New Look, or I might go to someone like Debenhams. It all depends on what you're looking for and how much you're willing to pay. Question 4, do you prefer to pay with cash or card? So with COVID, they prefer you to pay by card, but I'm kind of old-fashioned. I kind of like paying with cash. So like if I go out, I can limit myself to the amount that's in my purse rather than having a piece of plastic where it kind of feels like you have an endless amount of money. So it kind of limits how much you spend using cash. Question 5, do you like to shop in-store or online? Now, during COVID, obviously, we've had to do a lot of shopping online. Literally everything I bought recently has come online. But I do love going in store, seeing the items. It's like retail therapy. You don't get that kind of feeling by shopping on a computer. Although things like Amazon are really efficient and eBay, you kind of lose a sense of maybe how much you're spending. Like I said, obviously having cash instead of card. I do like going out shopping. It just seems like it's hard work nowadays. Okay, question 6. Do you compare shop prices? So if you were going to buy an item, do you go from one shop to another before you buy it? I've done this on a couple of items. Like recently, we're moving into a new flat. I've been looking for curtains and I have gone online to the Range, to various other stores and compared their prices. I do like to shop around. There's nothing wrong with wanting a bargain. Question 7. Where do you usually shop for clothes? So this one I've pretty much answered, but I do like Primark is main one. I have occasionally shopped at New Look or Quiz, but Primark generally is the place to go for clothes. I don't really venture anywhere else for clothes. Shoes, I do. I don't generally buy shoes from Primark. Shoes I usually buy from Dykeman, Shoe Zone, or Everything £5 online. Next, question 8. How important is good service in shops? So I like to see the girl that's working in the store smiling. Can I help you? Not too busybody. I don't like the stores where you go in and they're like busybodying, like they want to faff around you and ask if you need help, and they kind of hover. I like the good customer service, you know, that if you look like you need something, they're there to help you, but they don't like faff about. I can't stand the faffy customer service where they just hover. Kind of unnerving. Question 9. Are brands and labels important when shopping? Not really. I mean, I don't go out deliberately to buy something that's got a branding or a logo on to look cool. That's not me. I prefer basics, plains. Logos and brands don't mean nothing to me. It probably does to my son. He seems to think that labels are like heaven sent and everything's got to have a branding, and that's just not me. My mum's getting tired. I'm filming this off my phone. Okay, question 10. Who does most of the shopping in your home? Well, at the minute, there's just me and my son, so I would say me. He does go occasionally out himself, but I think you will find that it's just me. I don't mind. So, talking about houses now. What type of home do you live in? Well, as you can see, I live in a flat. I live in a first floor flat. There's just me and my son in this flat, which is kind of nice. Question 2. How many garages do you have? I don't have a garage. I don't have a shed or a garage or a garden as such. Question 3. Do you prefer to live in the city or the countryside? Now, I've lived in both. I've lived in the countryside for most of my life, and I have lived in the city for, I'd say, about a year. So the countryside was fine. It was kind of quiet, but then I find that living in the city is kind of busy. I'm sort of in two minds between living in a city and a country. I love the hype of a city, but sometimes it can be too much. But I don't like the quietness of the country because sometimes it's too quiet. That doesn't really work. Question 4. Do you want a house with a garden? So I live in a flat and I don't have a garden as such, but I have a communal garden. There's me and 3 other houses that share the garden out the back. And the bottom houses have a little patch of garden each. And then if I wanted a patch out the back, I could, but I've chosen not to. Although I do have access to the garden and I can use it because I do pay a service charge to have it maintained and everything. And I can go out there with a chaise lounge and sunbathe, and the kids can play football in it. They have full access to the garden. But I'm not really interested in gardening. It's not really my thing. Question 5. Do you prefer to rent or to buy a home? So I've only ever lived in places that are rented. I could only dream to afford to buy my own place. I think the kind of house that I would want would be out of my price range, and as they say, probably never exist. That whole concept of the house you really want isn't out there. You have to build it yourself, which was always my ex-partner's dream, was to build my dream home and share it together, and that didn't work because we're not together and I now live in a flat. Question 6. Do you prefer a flat, house, or a bungalow? So I lived in a I lived in a house as a child. I lived in a bungalow as an adult, and then as a more mature adult, which is now, I live in a flat. So I've actually lived in a flat, house, and a bungalow. Would you believe? Jesus, talk about get around. I've lived in all types of places. I found a flat's easier to maintain, like cleaning, tidying, but you don't get a lot of privacy in a flat. It's all one level. With a house, you kind of get your privacy. You can go upstairs, you can go out the way, you can get 5 minutes. The bungalow I used to live in was kind of nice. You did have your own space. It had a garden. It was kind of nice. I do miss being in a bungalow, but I think I'm climatizing to being in a flat. Who knows? Question 7. What is the most important item in your house? Most important item, I guess, would be my laptop, which is there. Broken still, mind you. After COVID, I was planning to get it fixed and still haven't. I would say my laptop, I do my eBay, I communicate through it mostly, I do my YouTube videos. I would say it's like the hub in my house. A lot of my life evolves around my laptop and now around my phone. Question 8. Do you think your house is haunted? No, I can't say I've seen anything in the 4 weeks I've been here that would suggest that my flat is haunted. It creaks quite a lot. The stairs and everything creak sometimes, but I wouldn't say haunted. Question 9. How many times have you moved house? I must have moved at least 10 times. I moved quite a lot since I turned 16, 17. I was in the same place for about 15 years, and then onwards from about 16, I've moved from place to place to place. All kind of in the same area, but I have moved around. I've stayed in like Norfolk for most of it as well, but I have moved a considerable amount. I've been in Norwich, I've been in Lingwood, I've been in Spall, I've been in Swaffham. I lived for a short time in Attleborough, I've lived in Norwich, I've lived in Acle, I've lived in Lingwood, I've lived in places that are kind of around each other. I've never really ventured further from home, as they call it. Norfolk is kind of my home. And the last question, who does most of the housework? Well, I live with my 18-year-old son, and he's not a fan of housework, and neither am I, to be fair, but it must be done nonetheless. I do have a tendency to cook and do the washing, and he has a tendency to wash up, and I think we kind of do it like 50-50. I would say it's 50-50 between the two of us. None of us really like housework, but it must be done. So if you want to do some of these yourself, I'll leave the questions down below. This is just some quick fire questions to get to know me, to get to know you, and I thought it would be a bit of fun. I also have a couple more I want to do at some point, so if you want to see another one of these, give me a big thumbs up. We're going to call this the quick fire shopping and houses questions something or other. It'll be some kind of title. But I'll leave a list in the chat if you want to comment on any of these and share your love of shopping and where you live. I'd love to find out more about my subscribers. And if you want to see more from me, do remember to click that notification bell, give me a big thumbs up, and I'm going to spend the afternoon in my little flat. And I'll see you very soon. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye.